Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to my website, StockBookie.com, sign up for a free membership for more videos like this, some swing trades, intraday action, some live stuff, and some education as well. So, all right, let's get right into the daily SPY here. And again, we're above this trend line. We're looking for the 235 big even number, or big, not the quarter number, but it's a big number. And then you got the 240 coming up. So if you're a bull, you want to stay above this trend line and just keep going. You'd like to see the volume pick up as this thing's moving up, but you know that right now it's just light volume float. News, Trump, everything's good. So you just got to go with the flow and let this thing go. If you are not short these markets, you can definitely start to add up in here, and that would be a great area to short. So, but if you're long in this area, you want to stay above this trend line, and then shoot for the 240 area. I'm thinking maybe sideways action like we've been doing here, and then possibly another move up. Again, we got to wait for pattern, guys. You know, right now it's not really telling us too much. But for the bears, if this thing does start pulling back, you're looking for it, a close below this trend line, then below the 20 moving average, and then there's a gap fill down here. A window right in this area, so around the 228 area. So that's a $7-8 pullback would be nothing for this market, and then possibly to continue up. But right now, bullish, going sideways. We're above the trend line. Nothing wrong. Like I said, if you're not short these markets at all, I'd start nibbling, on the Goldman Sachs's, the JPM, stuff like that. So, that's my opinion, but a lot of these things are high flying, and eventually they will pull back a little bit, and then just capture the pullback. And if you want to go long again, go long. But the weekly SPY above this trend line here, and that was a pretty good trend line, guys. I want to see more conviction. The volume's pretty light this week, so with the Monday off, so. It's borderline here. I want to see a big push. I want to see a big green bar like this or a big green bar like that. I want to see some conviction in these markets, not just a no volume float for weeks, since December, right around the 12th or so. So we're still above there. You have to respect it. So you can't rule anything out at this point. Let's go to the monthly really quick here just to see. Yeah, monthly, no problem. Looks like we'll possibly close above that trend line on the monthly as well. So right now, markets are strong, but light volume, I think, is holding it up. So you just got to be aware of that. And now let's look at the IWM. IWM, we went right up to that trend line, the 140 area we've been talking about. Slightly bullish here. We did have a nice dip today, and they came in and saved it. I'm surprised it didn't go to the 137.21. But let's see if this thing could pop up above this area, 140. Then I think you could go another couple bucks, maybe to 145, and who knows, maybe 150. If this thing starts to break down, if you're more bearish, you need to get it below the MAs. Then I think we're going to shoot down here around the 133 area. And if it really starts to go, I'm looking around the 130 and then maybe even in the 125 area around the 200 MA. I don't know how soon that will be, but if it really starts to go, still have a couple gaps to fill and stuff like that. But, one step at a time, guys, nothing wrong. But the big trend line up here rejected this thing right now. So let's see if we could get above it and continue like the SPY, or will this thing start leading the way down? And then possibly the markets will follow with that. Weekly chart. It was a nice drop today, too, on the IWM, and they came right back in and boom, right at lunchtime again. Lunchtime on Wall Street. But here's this trend line here. That's the one that it's banging into. Let's see on the monthly if we could get above this thing and close. We have about, a week left or so. So let's see where the closing is on that chart. Qs. Everything's still moving up on light volume, guys. Even on the monthly, sometimes you have to go a little bit out further. You had a pretty nice consolidation here for a couple months, and then the pop-up, you are above this trend line here. We hit the 130 area. That's kind of a big resistance with the even number there. Then I'm thinking, if it keeps going, maybe 135. We'll start looking at that. But let's go to the daily really quick. Daily, nothing wrong. We floated above it, and we're just kind of chopping around. Volume hasn't been terrible. Today it sold off a little bit, but nothing, maybe on more volume it would have been a little more interesting. But let's see what happens tomorrow in these markets. You're looking for a close if you're bearish below this little tail here, or at least below the 130 area, and then we'll take it from there. It's a little extended from the moving averages, but nothing crazy. Weekly chart. We'll see what tomorrow's close is. Tomorrow you want it to close above this green line, and just the momentum. You want the momentum to keep going. Light volume coming in, so nothing to see. We'll see tomorrow on the weekly as well. But nothing wrong with these markets. Just a light volume float, and keep an eye for volume to pick up. If the volume picks up, then you better, think about tightening those stops if you're long. But right now, you know what? We're above all the key trend lines. We just keep floating. We're above the 20, the 50, and the 200. It's coming off this consolidation pattern. It consolidated, shoot, since December 12th. Sideways, 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 and then boom, straight up right here. So you couldn't rule that out. As long as it stayed above the 20, boom, it started going up. So let's see where we go. We're at the 207. We did talk about 210. So let's see if we get there. That'd be 2100. Maybe that's it. Remember, guys, everything's been overshooting in the last couple months here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks sideways. We're getting a little bit, a pop up on this consolidation. I would have loved to have stayed a little more sideways going into the 20 MA and then the pop. This could be a little bit premature, but let's keep an eye on tomorrow's close on the Dow. But strong above all the MAs, getting a little bit stretched here. You got to keep an eye on that. Needs to come back a little bit, even on the monthly chart too, getting a little bit extended here, so you have to watch that as well. Let's go to the IYT, which is the transports. Transports, you know what? They're let's see on the daily. Yeah, daily they came in pretty good today. Let me tell you, this is the big area right here, the 170-107. Got above it, never confirmed, and today, boom, right back down, just like here. So now, if you're bullish, just tighten that stop up a little bit. You never know if this thing really starts to go. Here's the key trend line here, down right around 160. Let's call it 164 or so. If we start breaking towards that, then we're gonna hit that, fill the gap. Maybe go sideways, maybe a retrace again, and then go down. It's hard to kill the bull, guys. So every time this thing comes in and everyone starts buying puts, they put it right back up, and then boom. So let's see if we get maybe one more move, down into the trend line and up, and then maybe the rollover. But maybe down to 150 or so. We'll keep an eye on that. Actually, we have to. Well, we're down there. Let's go. I want to see where that fib was. Let's do a retrace from this pivot just to keep it a little tighter here. So yeah, even if that happens, 160 or so, but let's see where it goes into this trend line here. Right now is a nice drop today. I mean, it was $2, nothing crazy. We're just right below the 20 MA, so let's see what tomorrow brings, and we'll take this one from there. Weekly chart, same thing, nothing really wrong with it. Still above the MAs here, a little bit stretched, but again, right back into the area, and boom, we turn right back around and come down. Watch this trend line. If that breaks, you have a real good area around 162 a support. If that cracks, then gosh, you're looking at 150, then 154. So just be really careful. If you're not short these indexes, short these things. Gosh. The USO, same thing, right back to the channel today. It just keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. So if it can't get above there, let's see if we go back down here. Eventually it's going to either pop up or go down, but right now you're down sideways. This is a little more of a bearish pattern. You're still a little bit bullish because you're above the MAs, but slightly bearish. So it's kind of a 50-50 shot at this point. I am short the USO, so I'm hoping lower prices. Weekly chart, same thing. You're above the MAs, all that good stuff. Let's bring it up right here. You're above the MAs, but this is down sideways, a little bit bearish, slightly bullish. It's like another one, 50-50 shot. It could continue up. If it does, it's probably going to 12. Then you're looking at the high pivot here around the 1244. Gap filled about 1246 area. Then we'll see how that reacts. But right now, not doing much other than chopping around up and down. Nothing too exciting. Now the UUP, which has been interesting here. So the UUP was down 6 cents today, but man, this thing's been going up, 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 and everything's been going, oil's been going up, 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 up too. So, it kind of went up and then came back, went up a couple days, pulled back. But as this one's chopping around, oil's going up and down, so it's a little bit disconnected. Gold is still pretty much connected with this one. There's a dollar down, gold is up. But gold, this has been going up and gold's been going up too. So you got to keep an eye on this with the UUP as well as with gold. But right now we're kind of in fantasy land, guys. We're holding this area here around the 50 MA. Let's see if we continue choppy sideways action in a bullish manner to pop up on the next move up. But we'll see. Right now it's really telling us not much other than we're coming into this high pivot. See if we can get past that. or maybe, I think we're going to just chop around with a range from the moving averages. So hopefully this will curl up and send this thing up. This goes up. Gold, I think, is going to continue up, but the oil should come down. The weekly chart. Weekly chart, nothing wrong with the UUP. A little bit bearish stance here. It needs to get above these pivots, but if we start going sideways like this, it could be a possible bullish pattern. But this 20 MA is holding it up here. Let's see if this thing curls up on the weekly and then pops this thing up. If not, then if you're bearish on here, you need to get below the 20. Then this blue line, which is the 750 retrace, which right around 25.95, and then you'll see some lower prices, probably at least a double bottom, and then maybe come down here and fill this gap at 28.58 or so. So keep an eye on that one. And then GLD, if you're in the long with us on this one, this one's been great, guys. We're almost there. If you're long from down here around the 107, 108, pull it off. But, for me, I think I'd like to get a couple more bucks and then pull half off, and then maybe we get the 130, 131 area. We're going to see. But right now, guys, nothing wrong with gold. We did get above this high today and we closed, but we still have the 200 moving average here, and then the 123 trend line and stuff like that. But right now, nothing wrong with gold. As long as we're above these moving averages here, we're doing good. We get above this 200, and man, we could go up in this area. But I'm thinking at least the breakdown 124.45, and you have a gap up here around 127, and then where's double top? And then double top here around 131. If that goes, gosh, you know what, guys? If we really start to move up in gold, let's go back to the weekly here. If this thing really starts to go, you got another pivot here around 133.67, another pivot 137, then you ultimately have a gap right here that needs to be filled around 144. So not that he's saying it's going to go there, but you have a good chance of, I'm just looking at areas going, hey, you never know. This thing starts ripping through here and gets through here. It could overshoot. You got a gap here too as well. About 140 and 140. This is a weekly though. I had to go to the daily to see, to really see where the gaps are. But at least on these charts, that's what this is showing. But right now, nothing wrong with gold. To go long, I don't know. Just hold tight. Let's see if it does get a pullback, maybe. But I think this thing's ready to go, guys. All right, so that's it for today, and lot of weird action going on today. Must be with the options. Someone's doing something, but Tesla got beat up. Nvidia got beat up. Some of the high flyers coming in. So just beware, guys. Keep your attention span a little bit higher. The markets are pretty complacent lately, but just keep an eye on some stocks here. And we're in a bunch of shorts across the board. We've been adding for months, and they're slowly coming in, guys, especially the high flyers. These markets take a lot of patience, and I've learned with my trading that, in markets like this, there's not a lot to do. I'll do some scalps here and there. I'm getting crushed on some, not crushed, but beat down on some of these like JPM and Goldman Sachs. But the more that I'm covering some of these, I might go into a bigger position in the JPM or Goldman Sachs. We'll have to see. Eventually those will come in. Netties I got stuck in. I don't have a huge position, but it's like, oh my gosh, how high can this thing go? I just got brutalized, guys, in the netties. Not bad enough. Thank God I didn't have a full position on some of these here. Well, I guess those I do have them, but even a full position's not terrible right now. So, all right, guys, enough for me babbling, and I just want to say thanks for coming, watching my videos. Follow me on StockTwits too. We've been banging out some pretty good trades on that as well. We were short Facebook. We were short U.S. Steel, which turned out really good. There's a couple other ones on there too that we've been doing. Home Depot, I think we shorted, and a couple other ones here. Hold on, I'll tell you. Sorry, I'm babbling, but Facebook we've done, Home Depot, Netflix we scalped, IWM, Twilio, Home Depot again, iRobot, U.S. Steel before, The SPY, JPM, UPS, Tiffany, Dallas, ALGN, I don't even know what that one is. Exxon we've scalped, Apple we scalped, IBM, CAT, Win, Google. There's a bunch of scalp trays that we do on StockTwits, so follow me there as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching my video. God bless. See you on the charts.